Welcome back to the channel, guys. Today's video should be a good one. I'm going to show you my £10,000 Hargreaves Lansdown ISA portfolio. 6 funds on there at the moment. I'm going to run you through the portfolio as a whole, show you the Excel dashboard that I'm going to be using to track the investments over time, and then I'm going to jump over to a website called TrustNet that's going to be sort of the charting software and the analysis. Well, it's going to help us run the analysis on the portfolio. So any buys, any sells, any sort of changes in the investment performance, we'll be able to see fund by fund on there. I've got my laptop in front of me. I'm going to do my best to record that in a way that transfers over to the YouTube, and we'll go from there. So I'll catch you when I've set up my laptop. Right then, guys, here we are on the portfolio Excel dashboard. What I'm going to spend this first video doing is just talking you through what you can see, how this Excel document is going to work as we move through the series, and then I'm going to talk you briefly through the portfolio and then briefly show you the TrustNet charting software, just so you get an idea of how exactly this is going to progress over time and how we're going to be basically looking at the portfolios as we move through. So starting off with the Excel, at the top you can see the portfolio as a whole. We've got the holdings, 6 funds at the moment. We've got the weighted charge, the value as of today, as of today, yeah. Couldn't spit that out for a second. And then we've got the cost, the gain in pounds, and the gain in percentage. This transfers over to the middle sort of table where I'll track the value over time. You can see I've set up this portfolio on the 14th of Feb, so it's a fun Valentine's Day for me, and I've got the value as of today, and then I've, for example's sake, put 2 future portfolio values in with some gains and some contributions and so on, and that automatically transfers over to the graph you can see on the right hand side. So like I said, as we move forward through the months and years, this reporting, although very simple and very simplistic, did I just say very simple and very simplistic? Although very simple, actually is far better than Hargreaves. So I don't know if I've said already, I probably should have done. This £10,000 is a carve out of my wider Hargreaves Lansdown ISA. I just thought I'll start with £10,000. Any future contributions that I make to the ISA will go straight into this sort of smaller portfolio, and it'll be more fun to track it that way, starting from afresh without any sort of previous gains or losses. And then at the bottom there, we've got contributions, which I've put in the 8th because I get paid on the 7th each month, and I expect to invest sort of pretty promptly after that. So that's the dashboard. I'll talk you very briefly through the portfolio at a high level, but in future videos I'm going to break down this sort of one by one and talk you through why exactly I've invested in each investment. So there are 3 themes that I'd like to highlight: insurance, technology, and health and pharmaceuticals. Health and pharma as well as tech are quite easy themes, I think. Everyone will know how important a role tech has played in our lives for the last couple of decades. I don't see that going anywhere, so that's got a 10% weighting. Health and pharma, I think that's also quite an easy one. You know, people are only getting older and mostly fatter and more unhealthy, so why not make some money off that? That's got a 10% allocation. And then insurance is the big one, a 30% allocation. One of Warren Buffett's most favoured sectors. And again, this will make a lot more sense when we do the deep dive on Polar Capital Global Insurance and why that sector I find so attractive. But it's quite a sort of steady Eddie type investment. You shouldn't expect to see huge drawdowns. It should just sort of produce those returns over time. And now is probably a good time to say, since I haven't already, this is not financial advice. You know, typical disclaimer applies. This has nothing to do with my employment. Please do your own research. This is just my own portfolio, how I like to invest, and I'm just showing it for education and entertainment purposes. So this is not financial advice. I'm glad we cleared that up. The other 3 holdings are sort of specific plays. So Fidelity Special Situations is another active fund. As you can see by the charge, it's a UK fund. It's a contrarian play. So the UK has been out of favour for 10-15 years now, and I think now is personally quite a attractive time to buy in. So I've got 10% weighting in the UK. Columbia Threadneedle American Smaller Companies, again, I think is a good time for me to be getting into US smaller companies. With Trump getting into power, the US economy looking fairly decent, and even if not, this is a long-term hold. Betting it on capitalism in the world's most capitalistic economy, I think, is reasonably sensible. And then finally, we've got BlackRock Global Equity Unconstrained. And the reason this is in the portfolio at a 25% weighting is it's far more concentrated, far more spicy than the more boring Polar Capital Global Insurance, and it's managed by a person called Alistair Hibbett, who is one of BlackRock's highest paid employees. He manages one of their sort of hedge fund teams, and this is the only way that the public can actually gain access to his team strategy. So I am happy to pay the 0.9% to access that team and their investment resource. So that's the portfolio, a broad-based sort of overview, swoop of the portfolio. I'm now going to move over to TrustNet, which will be the charting software, where I've uploaded this portfolio, and I'll talk you through exactly how and why we are going to use that going forward. Okay, so here we are over on TrustNet. Before I start, I will say I really like this software, this platform. I keep calling it software, it's just a website. I really like it. I think it's super useful, and if you're into your investments, it's free to sign up. You can set up a profile for free, just put your details in, and you can upload your own portfolio to this website and do everything that we're going to do with this series. You can upload stocks, ETFs, mutual funds, which I've got here, and yeah, it's just a really useful tool. So on this sort of homepage, you can see the portfolio more generally. It's the same thing that we saw on the Excel spreadsheet, and that's not really where the interesting stuff happens. I mean, it's got a performance chart down here, but this portfolio hasn't existed for a year. It's existed for a week, so that's not too relevant, excuse me. Where the fun stuff happens is in the analysis. So we can see, again, this is the performance over time, but it's not really applicable because we haven't had the portfolio set up that long. But we can change the time frame to a month. You can see markets have had a pretty weak time recently. It's not just me, I promise. If I just quickly put this on here, I can put the global sector on here. So this is global equity funds across the board. Add sector, add update chart. Oh, that does look like it's me. Okay, right, that wasn't supposed to happen. Clearly I cannot invest and you should click off this video. No, don't do that. Anyway, the point of me showing you this is I can break down the portfolio by its constituent parts. I can show you exactly what's gone on with each of the funds, talk you through it as and when markets change and things happen. And if we come on to analyze asset allocation, we can also see a breakdown by, as the name suggests, asset allocation. So you can see the split by region, again the funds, the underlying holdings, the sectors, all this stuff. And as we go through these series, I can update you on exactly how and why things are performing in line with how markets move. But hopefully that provides you with an overview of how we're going to be taking this series on going forward, and a very, very brief overview of the portfolio as it stands today. So I think I'd say that's a fairly successful first episode. Let me know in the comments if you either agree or disagree, if you made it this far. I do appreciate it. And stay tuned, subscribe, like and subscribe, guys. No, seriously, subscribe and stay tuned for the next video.